Welcome to The Explainer. All right, today we are diving into a huge question. In an age where AI can do more and more of our jobs, what are we supposed to do with our lives? We're going to break down a pretty radical vision for the future of human purpose.
Yeah, this is the question, right? It's on everyone's mind as technology just keeps advancing at this incredible pace. And the speaker in our source material, John Kong, offers an answer that, honestly, challenges everything we think we know about careers and what we're here to do.
So, first things first, let's really nail down what the problem is. The threat isn't that some robot is coming to take your specific job title. No, the real deal here is that AI is just getting insanely good at doing low-quality, repetitive tasks. And that means our roles have to evolve way beyond just, checking boxes and following a preset list of steps.
All right, so let's really get into this, and we're going to start by looking at why our current models for really important roles, like in education and service, are becoming obsolete and fast.
Okay, so think about a teacher, for example. In the past, a teacher's main job was to stand up there and lecture, basically just transfer knowledge from a book to a student's brain. But today, an AI can spit out that raw information way more efficiently. So the teacher of the future has to be something else entirely, a guide, someone who teaches students how to use that knowledge and how to navigate the world.
And you see the exact same pattern in the service industry. I mean, a server whose only job is the mechanical task of carrying food and swiping a credit card, that role is going to be automated. The future of service isn't about the task, it's about providing what a machine just can't do. That human warmth, that energy, that real connection.
And that really drives home the point, doesn't it? If you're just sticking to the old, repetitive tasks, whether you're in a classroom, a restaurant, or an office, well, that's a losing game. The value just isn't there anymore.
So, this leads us right to the heart of the solution being proposed here. And it's a big one. It's not about scrambling to find some new job category. It's about a fundamental shift in how we see ourselves and what we contribute.
The whole idea is that we have to stop thinking of ourselves as just workers. Ilkun is the Korean word, people who just perform labor for a paycheck. That entire framework is becoming outdated.
Instead, the vision is for us to become what's called a cultural being, or 문화인. And what is that? Well, it's someone whose purpose is to get into high-level research, creativity, and activity that actually produces new cultural content and new value for society. And this slide, wow, it just lays out the difference perfectly. On one hand, you have labor. That's doing a task someone else told you to do. It's measurable, it's predictable, and it can be automated. But then you have activity. That's the uniquely human stuff, the research, the creation, the process of developing something brand new. That's where we need to be.
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, right? A cultural being. But how do you actually do it? How does this idea become something real? Well, the source material gives us a pretty clear method for this new era.
Well, the first thing to know is that this new activity isn't something you do alone in a room. It's all about collaboration. It's about people getting together around a shared interest to study, to research, and to create something that literally did not exist before.
And the speaker lays out a really clear, kind of organic way to do this. It's not about building some giant corporation overnight. You just start with one other person who's passionate about the same thing you are. Then, as your ideas get more solid, you bring in a third person to go deeper with the research. And once the concept is really there, you can expand to a group of 5 or 7 to build a real project out of it.
And get this model could totally transform even the most common businesses. Let's take a cafe. The old model? It's just a place that sells coffee. But in this new model, it becomes a community hub, a themed research institute where people can gather to learn, collaborate, and engage in that cultural activity we've been talking about.
So, what does this cultural activity actually look like in practice? Well, it's about these key actions. It's not about just hoarding information. It's about actively looking into what society actually needs, developing new content, and using your knowledge to create value that is uniquely human. The kind of value AI can't touch.
Okay, so what's the big picture here? What's the ultimate payoff for making this difficult but really necessary shift? What's the grand vision? The vision being laid out is for a nation, in this case South Korea, to actually lead the way on this, to go from being a society that's just really good at acquiring knowledge to becoming a true cultural leader that produces the ideas, the content, and the solutions that the rest of the world is looking for.
And this idea ties into a really profound Korean philosophy. It's not just about surviving or making money for one country or one person. The ultimate goal here is to step into a leadership role to serve the entire global community and actually contribute to the well-being of all humanity.
But, there's also a pretty stark warning that comes with all of this. The source suggests that maybe up to 70% of those low-quality, task-based jobs, they're just going to disappear eventually. For anyone who doesn't evolve beyond being a simple worker, the future could be one of obsolescence.
And that really sets up the choice we all have. This slide just lays it out perfectly. You can stay a worker, holding on to the past and becoming obsolete. Or you can evolve into a cultural being, someone who is actively creating the future, and because of that, becomes absolutely essential.
And that leaves every single one of us with a really provocative question to think about for our own lives. In everything you're doing, your education, your job, your side projects, are you just training to perform tasks? Or are you preparing yourself to create, to research, and to contribute on a completely different level?